You can't even see the speaker up there.
I know, that's why I was actually texting her, and I'm like, I just want to make sure you're here before I introduce you.
And I'm like, back of the room.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Do I really need that? Probably for you guys in the back of the room.
Yeah.
I'm loud, but.
It's good for the recordings.
Okay. We're going to do it for the recording then. Good. How are you?
Great, great.
He's not here to Jessica, though.
So, here's the first thing I want you to do, because today my topic is talking about our why, and tell me, I just want you to raise your hand if you've never heard that before, that you need to have a why.
That's okay, you can raise your hand.
Good, because that's the truth. So you're going to think, oh my word, we've talked about this 1,000 times, we're going to do it one more time. Okay? So the first thing I want you to do is, because it's kind of awkward, I think it talks about your gifts, your strengths, and things like that. So you're going to find one of the people right next to you, and this is what you're going to do. You are going to take a minute, and you are going to tell the person, your little partner or whatever, you may have to work together since there are uneven numbers here, but tell them something you're amazing at. And I don't know, how many of you is this hard for you?
That's hard.
So what I want you to do, and we're not going to take long, you're just going to have to do it. You're just going to have to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and say it. God gave you, no, just a gift that God gave you. And here's what I want you to preface it with. God gave it to you. You're not bragging on yourself. Okay? So don't worry about it. You can say what you want to say. You can tell them a gift that you truly know that you have, but you literally have 30 seconds to tell them, and then they are going to tell you one, and then I want you to hold on to it. Okay, go.
I'm your ride or die.
Okay, time's up. Ready? Can you hear it? Can you hear how loud this room is? Do you see how many gifts are sitting in here? Okay. So I want you to hold that on real tight, because sometimes this ride is crazy, isn't it? Sometimes in the midst of what's going on, we somehow think that has something to do with our inequities. And that has nothing to do with it, ever. Because you're in the perfect place that you're in at the right time for you. It isn't to compare to someone next to you, someone in front of you, someone behind you, because everybody's going to come in with different gifts. Everybody's going to walk in with a different story, and honestly, God has something different for every one of you. Thank goodness, right? Because it's perfect for you. And so we know that the thief of all joy is to compare yourself to anyone or anything else. And your journey is absolutely perfect. You can't be in the past and you can't be in the future. The only thing you're given is right now. So if you make the very most of right now, then you won. Okay? And He takes care of all the rest. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Amen to that.
Amen.
So today my topic is on our why, but what I'm going to do is back up and tell you a little bit behind that and a little bit in front of that so that it makes a little more sense to us. Because you can write your why down, you can think about it, you can have it on your phone, but if you don't have all the things that surround it, it will never make a difference. I didn't get any, I stole all of this, just so you know. I'm not great. Not this part. That all before that was mine. What I'm about to say is something I took away from our XLC event in Vancouver, okay? One of the things I want to do really quick is congratulate you for being here, because you're ahead of everybody else, okay? I don't care how many events there are, and if you think they're going to repeat the same information, don't we need to hear it just another time, right, for the day? And so I have had the honor in the 8 years, almost, I'll be 8 years in January, of having 23, this is the 23rd event that has occurred since I started, and I've been to 22 of them. Last year, for the first time, two of my favorite things collided, which would be my family and my Xyngular business, and my son was a senior, and it was senior night, and I couldn't get here for one day. It just didn't work out. And let me tell you, I was in the perfect place I needed to be for him, because that's why I do this. So I'm not going to do that, but this weekend I'm giving up all kinds of things. Games and cheer things and watching my daughter run in a race, and right? So we give up and we sacrifice a lot to do it, but occasionally there are just non-negotiable things. But it's 22 out of 23 times I've given stuff up to be here. So congratulations on that first, right? So in XLC, when we were there, Steve got up on stage and he started telling this little, image of a bullseye and how do we help people. So not only is it about you and you being motivated because there's only people you're going to reach, it's about you helping the people that God gives you also to find their why, to find what they're doing here and to help them to do it, right? So I just loved this, and I'm going to share it really quick because I think it's something that you can not only explore in yourself, which obviously we don't have time to do in my 10 minutes, but I want you to write the steps down, and I really want you to dedicate to yourself that you're going to go home and do them, and that you're also going to begin to explore this every time someone joins you, okay? So here we go. There are 5 of them, I think, 5 or 6. I'm not, really into the details, but we'll get there. Number 1 is your identity. Okay, and that's why we did that exercise. At number 1 in the parentheses or wherever, I want you to write, who am I? And I don't just mean Xyngular. Okay, I could get one thing straight right here. Xyngular is not that important. Yes, I just said it. Okay, this is a vehicle to give you the God dreams that He already had for you. This is the way you're going to get there. It's not the there. Did you hear that? It's not the there. It's just the way you're going to get there. And I've never seen one other thing. I spent my life serving people as a social worker. My husband spent his life as a teacher and administrator. And in 8 years, we've done what we would have never done in our lifetime put together. Okay? So it's a powerful vehicle. And you give it your time and attention because it's the very thing that's going to get you to the thing that you're really supposed to be doing. And it's going to use all your gifts on the way. It's the most rewarding thing we've ever been given. Do you hear me? Yes, right? Let's get it up. So, your identity. What you're going to do as an exercise, and I pray you'll do this tonight, even while it's fresh in your mind. I want you to get a blank piece of paper, and at the top of it, you're going to write, who am I? And this is everything that you are. I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter. I am a youth worker at my church. I love people. Oh my word, Diet Dr. Pepper, I'm pretty sure Jesus did it himself. Chocolate chip cookies. I love to be in groups. I love empowering people. I didn't know that till I got here. I love this, I love that. You see what I'm saying? You are just going to write it all down. They call it brain dumping. Like it may not even make sense and it seems stupid, but you're going to get it on that piece of paper. And then you're going to take a minute and you're going to look through that piece of paper. And you are going to try to sum all that mess up. And you guys, that is a hard job in my head. But you're going to try to sum all of that stuff up in just a couple statements. Okay? I'm a child of God. I am a mom. I am this, I'm that. And I came up with like a 2-sentence phrase for myself. Okay? So why is that important? Well, the one thing that nobody can do up here on this stage is motivate you. Not one person can stand in front of you and motivate you. Who does that come from?
Yourself.
You. That's right. Motivation starts with me. What can we do is attempt to inspire you and give you some of the tasks, some of the feelings, some of that excitement so that you can be motivated. But the one thing that stuck out to me so strongly when Steve was telling this was the fact that before you can get into the people's hands and feet, before you can get them out there and do the stuff, they have to know it and believe it in their heart. That's it. If you don't get there, you could take all the things that people give you today, all the steps of how to get it done, and they'll never do it. Because unless you really solidly know inside of yourself who you are and that connects with you here, you'll never go out there. You'll never get a Founders Club point. You'll never sign someone up. You'll never be a manager, right? Because first and foremost, we have to know it in our heart and mind. So you have to know, who am I? Do you fit here? You know what I mean? Like seriously, do you fit? Do your people fit? Because not everyone will, and it's okay. Somebody still has to serve my Starbucks. No, I'm kidding. If you know me, you know I'm there every day. Okay, not everybody can do Xyngular, because please someone make my venti iced coffee. I'm sorry. Okay, I would just do that job for fun. That's fun. That has a lot of extra stuff going on up there. And you spill out all that stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, okay. Have you ever been anybody in here not a Starby person? Starbs? Nobody? Okay, so do you wow when people are ordering and it's like 33 sentences later and then that's one drink or what, right? Now I've got my own sentence. It's good. It's real good. Okay, so anyway, your identity. You are going to write that piece of paper. You are going to get your sentences. so that you know this is who I am, because that's going to fit into your life. The second one, number 2, is your purpose. And your purpose is going to be so closely related to who you are, because God gave you those gifts. And your purpose is going to be something only you can do, not what anyone else is doing. That's why it doesn't matter where anyone else is. That doesn't, you know what I'm saying? How fast they got somewhere and how many leaders they have and what they're doing. Okay? So you're going to get a second sheet of paper and you're going to write down your purpose. Based on your identity and who you are, I'm pretty sure that every single person in here knows their purpose. So prior to Xyngular, I would sit in my living room. I was a stay-at-home mom making my 11 cents an hour. I heard that first thing this morning. I was like, yes, I did. And my husband pointed it out, and I was like, yeah, but you just don't talk about it. I'm going to stay up till 2 o'clock decorating sugar cookies, and I don't want to think about the 11 cents an hour. Still bought some groceries, right? When you're desperate, you'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the very best thing on earth, so why in the world would we ever be ashamed to tell everybody? Because there were people like me up at 2 a.m. making cookies for 11 cents an hour because my babies needed to eat. And we've got something so much greater. It's not a thing that we're asking people to do as a favor. Okay? You're giving somebody a gift. That's it. Okay. So your purpose. I want you to write everything you've ever thought about. Somewhere deep inside of you, just like me, 9 years ago, I sat at home and I looked at my kids. At the time, they were like 2, 6, and 10. This is right before Xyngular. And I kept saying, God, I feel it, but I have no idea what it is. Anybody been there? I feel like I'm supposed to do something. I feel like it's in me. I can feel it, but I can't find what that is. What is it? And I was trying to find it, and I was praying, and I was like trying to fill it with all the holes, right? And things that I thought. And sometimes you just have to sit back and receive, right? And then get to work. It's not that you're not going to go to work. It's just sometimes he's got to give it to you. And I just didn't know what it was. And I certainly didn't think it was this when I signed up. I just felt gross. You know, I was like, oh, I can't even. I had no energy. I had none of these things. Well, how in the world is he going to give me my purpose and me go out there? If I was too afraid to walk out the door because my pants were so tight, I was embarrassed. And I was too tired to care about the things that I knew I loved, like people and talking and relationships. I was too tired, right? So all of these physical things that Xyngular does for you opens the door for all the things that he's really got. And that's the other thing you're giving people. So you're going to write down all those really, really deep things that you're afraid to say. You know, again, be bold. That's the whole idea of this weekend. Get bold and write it down. What do I really think my purpose is here? Do I see myself on a stage talking to thousands of people? That scare you to death? You know, like, what is it? It's probably going to be scary, and it should be something you can't do on your own. Okay? So you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to write down that purpose. Once again, we're still up here in our head and our heart. We know who we are now, and we know our purpose. Now the next step is the bridge. It's your vision. This is different than a plan. Okay, so number 3 is your vision. So what is your vision? That means long-term, that means semi-long-term, that means short-term, and that means today. That is all part of your vision. But in order to know where you are going, you have to have that. Just like I heard everybody talking about the GPS this morning, right? If you've never been there, you probably need directions, right? I mean, you can't get in the car here if you drove to St. Louis and just thought, oh, I'll end up there. I'll get in my car and I'll end up there. It's all working out. I mean, most things do work out if you believe it, but I mean, it takes a little effort on our part, right? So that's your GPS. Get that vision. What do I see myself doing in 10 years from right now? What do I see myself doing in 5 years? What am I going to do this year? What am I going to do over the next 6 months? What am I going to do over the month? What am I going to do today? It's going to take you a minute. Is it worth it? Hello? Yes. Yes. Okay, just making sure you're still awake. I'm not as funny as everybody else. I was sitting back there like, I am sweating because everybody's laughing and everybody's funny up here. And I'm like, oh no, my topic's deep for me. It's always deep. I always get there. Okay, so are we good so far? 1, 2, 3?
Yes.
Okay, so you got to get that in your head. You got to get that in your heart. We're going to start making that bridge, and now we're going to step over into your hands and feet. Don't do it until you've done the others, because you'll never follow through. And that tape will begin to play in your head that says, I am not enough. I am not worthy. I cannot do this. I'm not good at this. Look at how many times I failed. Back it up. get back where you're supposed to be, knowing who you are and why you're doing it and what your vision is. And then you can step into the plan. Okay? Everybody's got one. They're all great. There is no secret. It's called work. That's it. Thank you very much. But everybody wants the secret all the time. And the answer is work. Just work. Get up and work. When you're tired, work. When no one's responding, work. When you feel like you've tried everything you know, you're out of friends, what do you do? Work. Okay, so that's your plan. Find something that keeps you accountable and do it. I have a daily checklist. I printed them, I put them in a binder, and I do one every day. I do not care if I'm ill. I do not care if I'm tired. I do not care if I have a headache. I do not care what's going on in my life and how many things and how many people need me. That checklist better be done when I get to bed. It's like putting your seatbelt on. If you don't have something automatic that you get up and you do every day and you hold yourself accountable, then you won't do the work. And you'll be wondering, I don't know why I can't get that, but Jennifer did, or Nicole did, or Sheila did, or Kella did, or whoever, right? It's all about the work. You always know, because when you show up, so does everything else. You're right? So that is your plan. Get one down, whatever it is. And if you guys want to see, like, everybody makes up their own, but it just categorizes for me the daily checklist, and everybody has like those systems. Just find one for you that really works for you. In your phone, in your calendar, on a piece of paper, okay? That's your daily plan that you're gonna walk out, because guess what? The only thing we can control is our actions. God has the outcome. So you can let go of all of that and all of the emotions attached to it. All of your emotions can go into the actions. Did you get up and friend people? Did you follow up with people? Did you post? Have you been out and about meeting new people? You know what I'm saying? These are things you can physically check off that you did. You cannot check off manager. Somebody tell me how you get up and you go be a manager. Like, right? You can't do it. Can I get up and go friend more people, talk to my team, help my customers? Check, check, check. I can actually physically do those things. Okay? So that was what number?
4.
Okay. So then finally, the fifth one, I got it right, is guidance. So we have an identity. We know who we are. We have a purpose. And that helps us to motivate ourselves to do the other things. Then we have a vision so that we can make a plan. And the plan is walking it out every single day. The guidance, you guys, is that little cherry on top. It isn't a sundae until there's a cherry. Okay? The guidance is your team. The guidance is your leader. You're both. You're standing in the middle of it, and you need to report all of your daily plans to your leader. It seems silly, even when you're a leader. But I will tell you, Jennifer is constantly checking in and telling us, and I love that, right? Because it's accountability for both of us, honestly, right? But when you, and Jennifer's taught on this on stage about Pearson's Law. When you record it, it's more likely to happen. When you record it and then report it, it grows exponential, okay? So guidance means you seek guidance. We don't have it figured out, none of us. So you always want to go, that may be your direct upline, you may have to talk to somebody 2 levels up, you may just connect with somebody, sideline, right? But making sure that you plug in and that you seek the guidance, and anytime you are down, let them pick you up. Do you guys love to help encourage people who are down? Right? So does your leader. It's okay. And we all feel so much better when that happens, and sometimes we just need a hand. So make sure that you check in with your leader all the time. You are not bothering them. Hello, this is what we do, right? When people say that, are you like, no, you don't understand. This is literally what I do. So you're not bothering me. If I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to somebody else, or I'm wishing I was talking to somebody. So please, right? So seek guidance. And then this is the part where I want to say, when we were talking about me doing your why and how you help your team get it, that's it. You are going to do that for your people. Please do not sign them up and walk away. If you had a baby, you would not deliver your child and walk away, right? So at first, you're literally doing all the things with them. You are feeding them. You are changing their poopy pants because they get poopy pants, right? I mean, sometimes we get discouraged. Sometimes it's like, you're just like, oh, but you help them. You clear it out. You're helping them by inspiring them to motivate themselves to know who they are, what their purpose is, help them develop their vision and get a plan. and have them give it to you every single day. And then as they grow, you're more like holding their hand and helping them cross the street. And then, I'm probably still in that part of my business where I want sometimes for Calla to hold my hand and walk me through these things because they're tough. Sometimes they're just tough. And so I need an extra person, an extra belief, right? And then you are going to get to that place where they're a teenager. And now I'm like, hey, what are you doing? We haven't talked in a while. Because they're out there, they're doing it, and I'm proud, and it's wonderful. But I miss them, and I still want that interaction. So be that guiding light for your people to make sure of that. And you guys, the way I have actually taken that very thing and brought it into my business, I walk through these steps with my people. All of them. Whenever I listened to him that day, I thought, this is going to change everything. I'm going to take all of my frontline people, and we're going to do this exercise. I'm going to make them turn it into me, their statements of their identity and their purpose. You know why? Because on those days that they need my guidance, and it's hard, and they're crying, or they, worked so hard, and something just didn't happen for them, I say to them, do you know who you are? Do you know what you told me? Do you remember that purpose? Are you okay if that takes another month or another year? And we're able to do that for them, right? And you told me that it was because of your boys and the things you wanted to be able to give them. And that can turn things around, right? Because then we're focused on the things that we know that we're here for, not the lies that Satan's trying to knock us out, and we ain't gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
So, do you understand what those steps mean in your business? You can go back to your teammates right now that you already have and say, do this exercise with me. It's powerful. And then I have that in yet another notebook, because I like organization. I have each of my frontline people, and behind that, I printed their statements. I printed their purpose. I printed their vision. When they give me their plans for the month, I slip that into that area. And that gives me, when I'm talking to them then, I can go back and look on that as well and make notes. It's a great way to really love the people you were given, because you were given them on purpose. So take your job serious. You're the only one that God chose to give that person to. There's a whole lot of other people you're gonna get, and you're the only one that will ever reach them. So you can't quit, because it's not even about you. It's about the people that you're gonna be given. So you get those all mapped out and get them to your people, and now as you bring in new people, hopefully you can start with that. Say, you know what? I would just love to know what inside of you is causing you to want to do this and all that, and it does the same thing. Does that make sense? Okay, how did we do?
You did great.
Good timing?
That's perfect time.
All right, thank you.